Hello, Inbound Flops. I'm Zach, not Kyle, or Zach for short, and today I decided to revisit Overwatch 2 for the second time. In my first Overwatch 2 video, I talked about all the redesigns and the new character designs that we got in Overwatch 2's first release, and now we are at Season 2, Ramatra is here, and so is a new Battle Pass. And it just so happens that the Battle Pass is the topic of this video. Overwatch 2 is no stranger to wanting you to pay for things. They had a whole loot box system, and that ended up blowing up in their faces a little bit. However, now they've moved on to something a lot more sinister. With the release of Overwatch 2, we were introduced to the Battle Pass system. On paper, this was a very good idea for Overwatch 2 to do. You get a lot of skins, voice lines, and cosmetics for only $10 as you play the game. Perfect. The problem is, Overwatch 2's rollout made it so that way people who played the game previously, who bought it for like $60, ended up just playing a game that other people could get for free, with the only compensation being a couple of skins that most people already had called the Watchpoint Pack. And now everything is being defaulted into a shop, which wouldn't be so bad if that was the premise to begin with, but considering the past 7 or so years, it's not going over well with the Overwatch fanbase. Today I want to talk about the battle passes themselves, because I feel like they are far more interesting to discuss. Sure, $20 for skins is bad, but you want to know what's worse? Paying $10 for a battle pass with massive problems. But before we get into it, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on this video. I try and post a couple times a month. My college schedule makes it very hard to do that, but I try. You can follow me on Twitter at ZachNotKyle Inc., or you can follow me on Instagram at ZachNotKyle, and I'm also on HIVE at ZachNotKyle Inc. So without any further ado, let's talk about Season 1 first. So I'm going to say something mildly controversial, which is this pass was always doomed to fail because of how many characters released all at once. Overwatch releasing with 3 heroes at once is baffling for sure, but I understand the want to change up the game. Overwatch 2 sought to be something way bigger than it actually ended up being, and that definitely shows in Season 1. So I think the first thing to talk about is the general problems with the Battle Pass. And to start with that, we have the lack of currency. The lack of currency in the Battle Pass is ridiculously frustrating, considering the game that Overwatch stole this from, Fortnite, does a lot of currency handouts for its players who buy the Battle Pass. Sometimes you're able to just get the Battle Pass again with all of your currency, assuming you play the game long enough. Overwatch 2 makes that so hard. You can only really get 60 coins a week if you're playing every day through weekly missions, and that is not enough considering most skins are 1900 coins. The easiest way to fix this would be to take some of the cosmetics and just replace them with coins, but I don't think the Overwatch team actually wants to do that. After all, when you pump enough time into content, you're gonna want to throw it out unceremoniously into something that's already unceremonious, instead of asking people to pay the coins that they don't have for them. And speaking of random fluff, let's talk about the voice lines in Season 1. A lot of them were very not on theme. There was a couple that were pretty good, like Junker Queen's Neon line, but so many of them just were not on theme with the EDM theme. Oh yeah, keep this in the back of your brain. Season 1 is EDM, Season 2 is Greek mythology. This will be important later. And with something that's EDM themed, you would think that most of the skins would be, you know, EDM theme. That is wrong, you silly goose. Too much of the pass is filler content that doesn't work. For example, we got random skins like Sky Centurion and Forest Ranger. I don't understand why they're here. And on top of getting those skins, we also got a bunch of random ass cosmetics for them, like sprays and such. Now, having voice lines and sprays for specific skins is okay because they all tie back to this major part of the pass. The problem is when that major part of the pass is not liked. Insert half of the skins in this battle pass. So I think we should start by talking about the 3 new characters who got skins in the battle pass, being Sojourn, Junker Queen, and Kiriko. I will talk about Kiriko more in a minute. So Sojourn literally had a cyber detective skin, and when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is so perfect for the battle pass. This skin is really, really cool and fits the theme and fits Sojourn as a person. And then they used not that, they used one that was ridiculously off theme. And in fact, this skin has a color palette swap that's available for another 1900 coins in the shop. I hate this. I do not understand why you wouldn't use Sojourn's new Cyber Detective skin in there, especially if you guys had it planned since launch. And speaking of very weird skin decisions for new characters, Junker Queen being the only character with an epic who is new is dumb as hell. Especially when her green text skin that I'm forgetting the name of was right there. But that skin ended up being put into a bundle for another 1900 coins. Blizzard, why do you do this? And finally, Kiriko. Kiriko is the only one who had a fitting skin, being Hinatori, which was a mech skin, and I really liked it. I think it worked really well. The colors were gorgeous. But unfortunately, Kiriko had her own set of problems, being that you would need to hit tier 55 as a free player in order to get her in the battle pass.
Mr. Tainari, what the fuck?
And this is where a lot of the backlash with the battle pass stems from, being the gatekeeping of heroes. Now, this is something that Blizzard has said will continue for the rest of Overwatch 2's lifespan. Every character is hidden behind a certain amount of playtime, be it the battle pass, or if they were already in Overwatch prior to the battle pass's existence, through hours of gameplay. This isn't bad necessarily. A lot of free games tend to take this model, like League of Legends, where you purchase champions as you go, but in that instance, the characters aren't handed to you, you get to choose who you want to play as, which makes it a lot more freeing. Games like Brawlhalla also do this, where you could get every character for 20 bucks, or you could just get the characters that are on free rotation and purchase the other ones with coins. It's very much choose your own adventure. Overwatch does not do that. You are handed characters and you go balls to the wall, basically. No matter what form of gatekeeping happens with any of the characters, it becomes pay to win in some way. Overwatch 1 players would have been able to simply pay to win without realizing it, because now they have every character except for Ramatra, which now we have to get the battle pass for. And Overwatch 2's new players who didn't have Overwatch 1 also have to be pay to win in order to get more of the characters. So regardless, I do think that the gatekeeping of heroes is going to kill this game. So talking about some of the established characters and their skins, Sky Centurion shouldn't exist, and Pharah's favoritism does piss me off in these, because why does she have 2 legendaries back to back in the only 2 battle passes that have existed so far? If she gets a third, I will be making a call out post on my twitter.com. And both of her skins are ugly as fuck. Oh my god.
That's what she said. And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.
And then moving on to the epic skins, Cassidy and Winston's skins are some of the worst to come out of Blizzard lately. Cassidy's is literally just a worse version of some of his epic skins, and Winston's just looks very bad, mostly because of coloring. It just looks muddy and gross, and I hate it, and it's not on theme, and neither is Forest Ranger. I think just simply switching these out for epic skins for the characters that were dropped would be better, which is something they did fix in Season 2. We'll get there. And on the positive side, I will say that Cyberdemon and EDM were great lead-ins and cap-offs to the past. I think that EDM Diva was an amazing skin, great effects, and Diva's focus in the past worked really well because it's something that ties into her character really nicely. And Cyberdemon Genji was a great concept and a good way to introduce the mythic skin concept. I really liked it. I wasn't able to get it personally because I fell a little short in the battle pass, but hopefully anyone who has it enjoys it. And something else that needs to be mentioned before going on to Season 2 is sequencing is important. When it comes to the battle pass, you don't want to be getting a skin at level 10 and then getting cosmetics for it at level 58. Except Overwatch does that a lot. Like, so much that it genuinely made it into this video as an actual problem. When it comes to sequencing, you're going to want to space things out enough so that way players who don't want the cosmetics of certain characters are able to get other things that they actually enjoy. A good solution to this would be to have 2 skins in the first 20 tiers. And then from those 2 skins, you alternate between the different things you could get for them. Does that make a perfect solution? No, but it's better than getting tactical at level 10 and then getting a bunch of cosmetics for it like 40 tiers later. Like, by that point, I have forgotten this skin exists. Another funny example is Pharah being at level 50 or 60, I forget which one, and then having a spray at level 3. Like, what? And it's not like you could get us to start caring about that skin, especially because it's ugly as fuck. So overall, Season 1 felt kind of messy. It felt like it wasn't fully formed yet and needed a minute to simmer. And you may be wondering, wow, for an EDM pass, there's not a lot of EDM content. Wouldn't you want more of that? Well... So Season 2 made us figure out where all the EDM content went, and it went in this Battle Pass for reasons I will never understand. The theme of this season was Greek mythology, and the mythic skins absolutely stuck to that. We'll talk about them later. However, so much of the content feels like it was EDM pass rejection. First of all, Dance Machine Echo was an amazing skin that should have just swapped Sky Centurion and we were laughing. Before we talk about the skins, let's talk about like the introduction to this pass, because it was better? Ramatra's release was handled pretty well and a lot better this time around. You did not need as much gameplay time as you needed for Kiriko. Kiriko, you required close to 50 hours in some instances to get her, which is obscene. Ramatra definitely required a lot less because he came 10 tiers earlier in the Battle Pass, and I think that's an okay place to keep him at. You could probably attain him within the first 3 weeks, which also happens to be when the competitive pool opens for him, so it worked out quite nicely. I'll also say that the content released in the shop did make a lot more sense. There was a lot of Greek mythology skins in there, and it was really good, and some of the EDM content that felt like it probably got scrapped from the pass in favor of better skins was also there. I think that is fine. And that is where my credit to this Battle Pass ends, because I want to know what events took place for this to be this horrific. So starting with the level 1 introductory tier was so bad, I genuinely thought about not getting the pass. Bug Hero 76 is ugly as hell, first of all, and it's not on theme, and you're calling this a legendary when it looks like it should just be an epic. What are we doing? Now, another thing that you can find pretty easily without even clicking on the Battle Pass page in the shop is the Season 1 and Season 2 starter packs. They were available during the same time frames as their respective Battle Passes. And if you look at them side by side, you're probably thinking, oh, Lucio's pack is Season 1, and Doomfist is Season 2. That makes sense. So what if I told you that they were the opposite of that? Blizzard, why do you do this? Nothing you're doing is making sense. And talking more about the shop for a second, a lot of the skins were Greek mythology, but when I talk about the Battle Pass, you'll notice how few Greek mythology skins are actually in this pass. Can someone please explain why all of these are here then? Including Medusa Widowmaker, why was she not in the pass? I am genuinely concerned. So talking about the actual skins we got in Season 2, Queen Cobra was probably the best one, especially for epics. Queen Cobra Symmetra was a really interesting take on something that combines the Matrix, a take on Medusa, and just Symmetra being a badass that we all know she is. I really, really enjoy the skin. I know a lot of people don't really like some of the styling choices, which I could agree there, but I think the concept was interesting enough and the execution was also interesting enough. Especially by epic skin tier, I will say it's pretty solid. We can immediately rule out Street Urchin and Botanist for being any good, because as much as I love the Botanist skin and despise Street Urchin, I can't have an opinion on them. And it's because they're not on theme whatsoever. Why are they here? So the next skin that you will come across is the Poseidon skin for Ramatra. It's his only good legendary. Please buy the Battle Pass if you want a good Ramatra skin. I'm not even joking. Like, this skin is really, really good and I really enjoy it, but so many other ones for Ramatra are ugly as fuck. I also think Ramatra's epic was really nice, and I wish they did this where free epics would be given out for the new characters in Season 1. I think that would have made the pass a lot better and filled with less filler content. Although Season 2, I will say, the epic skin for Ramatra wasn't great, but it was serviceable, and it was fine and rewarding to get a skin for a character that you worked so hard for. So then we start hitting some of the more interesting choices from Blizzard. I know most of their choices have been interesting. This one is just baffling in every sense. Dance Machine Echo. Now, I really like this skin. I really like Echo. This combination was very good. It should not have been in a Greek mythology pass. We had an EDM one a few weeks back. Where was this there? This skin would have been perfect in the Battle Pass. So many of its cosmetics were amazing for Season 1, not Season 2. Once again, this is another case of Blizzard just blatantly ignoring some of the theming of its Battle Passes, and I hate it so much. And then we hit Pharah's second legendary of the Battle Passes, Jesus Christ. And can they stop giving Pharah skins? Because why are all of them ugly as hell? Oh my god, Hades is horrific. I want to know how many people that had to go through at Blizzard and how many of them said, yup, Looks great, Jeremy. Cause I genuinely can't understand how the skin made it through. Especially when we had so many better ones like Wrecking Ball's crustacean skin and Reinhardt's bull skin. Those were so good. Where were they? And then we get to Zeus Junker Queen. Honestly, it's incredible. I think this is the best mythic skin to come out, as much as I love Medusa Widow. I think this one is the best. It's so good, so on theme, perfect for the character, works with her weapons. It's amazing. I love it. It's so good. It just sucks that everything preceding it is garbage. So now that I've gone on my unhinged rants about Season 1 and Season 2's very weird theming, is Season 3 actually going to change? And the answer is absolutely. There is no way it doesn't. Blizzard was too far deep into Season 2's development for them to be able to fix anything that was being worked on, and that does include the wonky-ass design and skin choices that happen for the passes. Although someone should have said something in the meeting room, like seriously, how many people did that have to go through? The first 2 battle passes are most likely not a reflection of the game's future, since the backlash was so immense, the currency outrage, the skin outrage, the theming problems. There was just so much going wrong that I think these 2 passes ended up just getting merged together as somewhat siblings of each other in order to pump out the content so they could start fresh in Season 3. And speaking of that, in February, when Season 3 does drop, I will make another one of these videos talking about Season 3 in comparison to Season 1 and 2. Hopefully it does get better. In conclusion, Blizzard is stinky and full of corporate greed, and I don't like them sometimes. I love their game, just remove the shop function, please. I genuinely don't think anyone has a problem with Overwatch 2 as a game. I think everybody really respects it and is a very fun game that everybody enjoys. But what surrounds it is just so much corporate greed, and it's extremely frustrating, and I blame Fortnite. If the Battle Pass was never a thing, I feel like most of gaming now would not be as money hungry as it is. And I really hate to say that because I think the Battle Pass is a good function, but it was good once and never good again. And Overwatch 2 does nothing but prove that. And with that, that's gonna be it for today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe as I previously mentioned. And I hope you'll stick around for all of my takes in the world of game design. Bye, sis.
원래 수배때가 마블러시 남의 딱야 남의 독에 가왈리니 갤러 하크 I have to go and bim bim let's go let's go let's go let's go. Who's gone